The country is in crisis. Trump is back in power, and suddenly a curious silence has fallen over the people who told us it didn't matter. The ones who insisted voting was a false choice, who couldn't be bothered, or worse, voted third party and now act like they had no hand in this.
A wise guy, eh?
Salutations, fellow nerds. I'm Rick Y, and today is June 11th, 2025. Strap in because this one's a long rant and it's been a long time coming. Some of you know that I value real dialogue and serious discourse. I treat those I engage with respectfully right up until they start acting in bad faith, trolling, or trying to win arguments instead of learning from them. I don't take kindly to being spoken at instead of spoken with. Insults, I lean into them, and I throw them right back. As I've said in the past, I match bully energy with bully energy. Calling you a Nazi simp when you sympathize with and for Nazis is calling a spade a spade. Just cut the foreplay and stand for something. And many of the folks who use these tactics are far more conservative than they let on, clinging to some centrist label while they acknowledge partial truths and mix them with conspiracy. The vanity is also remarkable because I can think of several people with whom I no longer even dignify with comment responses will believe that I'm talking about them without realizing just how many of these free thinkers I have to deal with on a daily basis and how irritatingly consistent their bad faith is because they pride themselves in their own intellect. No one embodies this better than Joe Rogan, a man who gave a platform to baseless smears against innocent people, then turned around and criticized Elon Musk for doing the same thing. The biggest megaphone for conspiracies now wants to play the role of the morally superior moderate. But this moral superiority is veiled apathy. It's the smug confidence of someone who says, I didn't vote for either side because they're both shit. Like apathy is somehow a virtue. They don't say both sides are corrupt because they've done their homework. They say it because it's easier to perform detachment than confront uncomfortable truths. Ironically, that performance requires the same moral high horse that they claim to reject. And the reality is this. We have two primary parties. You don't have to like it, and I don't either, but the choice was and still is binary. Let's dismantle some of the hopium that people cling to when justifying abstention or third-party votes. Third-party voting, let's be brutally honest. The U.S. runs on the Electoral College. 50 states, 538 votes, winner takes all in most of them. You don't win by swaying people, you win by flipping states. Even if a third party somehow pulled 10 to 15% of the national vote, that doesn't matter unless it's concentrated in battleground states. You get 0 electoral votes without winning first place. No modern third party has ever won a single electoral vote without siphoning from a major party. Ross Perot, Ralph Nader, Jill Stein. It's not about possibility, it's about plausibility. Imagine standing at a fork in the road. One path leads to a wildfire and the other one to a flood. And you just sit down, cross your arms saying, I didn't choose either. But binary systems don't care. You're still going to get dragged down one way or another. Your refusal doesn't shield you from the outcome. It just takes your hand off the wheel. Inaction isn't neutrality, it's surrender. Not voting or voting third party doesn't make you pure, it makes you passive. The train is going somewhere. Not pulling the lever doesn't make you smarter than the rest of us. You're still on the train. Could all of the swing states write in the same third party candidate and win the presidency? Sure. Just like every NFL team could spontaneously forfeit, so a high school team wins the Super Bowl. You see how absurd that sounds? It's mathematically unreasonable, in many ways more irresponsible than voting for lesser of the two evils. It's the political equivalent of cowboy fans saying, this is our year. It's not. It's not going to be. Sit down. Another favorite tool of the enlightened centrist is the logical fallacy. The most common? Ad hominem. That's not an insult. It's when the insult is the argument. Saying, I won't listen to you because you're a dumbass isn't the same as just saying, you're a dumbass. Next, the straw man. Usually starts with, oh, and you just want, and then proceeds to misrepresent your position entirely. And then there's the asymmetric standards. Biden never has been caught cheating, but people feel like he did. And meanwhile, Trump openly cheats, lies, and violates basic decency, but it's excused. Boys will be boys. Pandemic-driven inflation? Blame Biden. But Trump's disastrous tariffs? Patriotism. One guy burns a flag in LA? National crisis. Thousands storm the Capitol, shit on the floors, and steal government property? That's just a spirited tour. Isn't a pursuit of truth, it's a defense of ego, saying I was wrong or I don't know shouldn't be a scoreboard, but for many it is. That's why we get political solipsism, derived from hard solipsism. I think, therefore I am. Political solipsism is the idea that if your conscience is clear, then nothing else matters. Not people, not policies, not outcomes, just vibes. I didn't vote for Trump and I didn't vote for Harris, so I'm off the hook. But you're not, because you still live here. This mindset is about avoiding responsibility while still demanding credit. It's a desperate mix of plausible deniability and then denial of consequence. Today alone, I had to beat back the straw man that supporting peaceful protests means endorsing looting. This nonsense derails actual conversation, and it matters because we're all in this together. You can't have your cake and eat it too. When you abstain in a binary election, you're not neutral, you're just a passive actor in someone else's victory. And when logic is challenged by facts you never considered, don't take it personally. Don't kill the discussion with, cool story, bro. You're allowed to be wrong. I've been wrong. A lot. You live, you learn. But if your actions or lack of them helped bring about this current reality and you refuse to own that, then why should anyone take your political opinions seriously now? Cynicism and apathy don't make you wise. They make you petty. And trying to reclaim moral high ground after the damage is done isn't bravery, it's PR. Don't come out years from now and say you stood with the oppressed if you're silent while they're being disappeared into unmarked vans today. Don't lecture us about civility while gas is being fired at children, rocking out to Rage Against the Machine while simultaneously applauding the LAPD. It's baffling. You're either in it or you're complicit. And if you enjoy the content, like and subscribe. Y'all come back now. You hear?